so we're called to order at 6 o'clock, according to my clock. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon advance request. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. The Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to Federal Title VI non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is posted in the meeting room and is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Thank you. And with that, Mary, would you call the roll?
Certainly will. Thank you. Abington.
Delegate present.
Alternate present.
Thank you. Avon.
Alternate present.
Thank you. Bridgewater.
Delegate present.
Brockton, I know that both are not able to attend. Duxbury.
Allison Shane, delegate present.
Thank you. East Bridgewater. I know Peter was planning on attending. He may join. Easton. Halifax. Hanover. Rhonda had sent her regrets. Hanson.
Delegate present.
Kingston.
Delegate present.
Pembroke.
Delegate present.
Plymouth.
Delegate present for 45 minutes.
Thank you very much, Lee. Stoughton.
Present, Bill Roth.
Thank you, Bill. West Bridgewater. Whitman.
Delegate present.
And at large.
Delegate present.
And pardon me for 1 second, because there's a couple others that are in the waiting room and I just need to move them over. And Charlie, let me just get Peter Spagone. Megan, can you make Charlie a co-host, please, just for continuity for bringing folks in, please? Thank you. Thank you. That Madam President, we have a quorum.
Okay.
And Peter Spagone is here.
Okay. So with that, we'll start with the action item on the consent agenda, which is the April 2025 meeting minutes, the MEPA environmental notices, the fiscal year 2026 Old Colony MPO Unified Planning Work Program, and the fiscal 2026 Title III grantees under the AAA. So were there any questions about any of these items in the packet, or does someone want to make a motion to accept these items as a consent agenda?
If nobody has any questions, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Sandra.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Noreen. Okay, then roll call, Mary?
Yes. Stephen Santasonio,
Accept.
John Costa,
Accept.
Sandra Wright,
Accept.
Allison Shane,
Accept.
Peter Spagone,
Accept.
Tony DeFrayis,
Accept.
Val Massard,
Accept.
Becky Coletta,
Accept.
Lee Hartman,
Accept.
Bill Roth,
Accept.
Noreen O'Toole,
Accept.
and Christine Joy.
Accept.
Thank you all. Okay, so moving right along, we'll start with the Finance Audit Committee meeting report with the April 2025 financials with Brenda Robinson.
Okay, at the end of April, we showed a positive financial standing with a 3.82% budget surplus. Available surplus funds remaining are $187,164. Statement of expenditures report shows total expenses for the month at $206,029. Cash position report shows income for the month at $331,206. Disbursements for the month were $443,622. Total cash available at month's end was $1,825,043. OPEB account had a gain of $11,208, bringing the ending balance in the OPEB account to $1,260,045. Budget resources report. Cash receipts being $331,206 brings the total year-to-date receipts to $5,754,913. AAA report. Outstanding balance for AAA pass-through programs was $642,455. Outstanding balance for AAA admin and ombudsman programs was $141,370. This brings the total outstanding balance for all AAA programs to $783,825. Volunteer transportation account beginning balance was $162,575. Donations received were a total of $520, bringing the ending balance in the fund to $163,094. ROM statement and activity balance at the beginning of the month was $150,793. Receipts were $5,850, bringing the total receipts to $74,500. Expenses were $5,903, bringing the total expenses to $80,946. The ending statement balance was $149,872. Budget reports. The spent to date percentage rate at the end of the month was 79.48%. The ideal percentage in the 10th month of the fiscal year would be 83.3%. So at month's end, we had a 3.82% surplus. Available surplus funds remaining are a total of $187,164. Page 1 expenditures at the end of the month were a total of $2,510,193. Budgeted funds remaining at the end of the month were a total of $647,931. Page 2, projected grant income is $3,158,124. And page 3, projected pass-through income for this fiscal year remains at $1,996,327. Lastly is the list of all AP and cash transfers for the month of April. And that's the end of the regular financial report.
Does anybody have any questions for Brenda on the financials from April?
No.
Do we have a motion to accept the April 2025 financials?
Becky,
make that.
this information was all reviewed thoroughly at the Finance Audit Committee meeting last night, and the committee voted to bring this to the full council for their approval so that we support this.
So do you want to make that motion then?
Would, please.
Thank you, Christine.
I'll second that, Becky.
Thank you, Stephen. Mary, roll call?
Yes, Stephen Santosonia,
Accept.
Don Costa,
Accept.
Sandra Wright,
Accept.
Allison Shane,
Accept.
Peter Spigot,
Accept.
and Tony DeFrayis,
Accept.
Val Massard,
Accept.
Becky Coletta,
Accept.
Lee Hartman,
Accept.
Bill Roth,
Accept.
Maureen O'Toole,
Accept.
and Christine Joy.
Accept.
All right, thank you. Now, Brenda was going to take us through, I think, the fiscal reserves, just so we're keeping a handle on this.
Right, and Madam President, and this was reviewed, and I know Christine can speak a little bit more to this, but this is going to be a continued one pager that Brenda prepares, goes over with the finance, but it's a snapshot, a real-time snapshot. The financials that you just went through takes us through the end of April. But again, Brenda, thank you.
Okay. Summarized finances at a glance report as of May 25th, 2025. Total cash balances for all accounts listed add up to a total of $1,801,797. The total account balance is decreased by $462,465, which is the amount of funds received in advance that have been allotted for specific grants and programs only, such as the OPEB account, volunteer transportation account, and advance payments for specific grants. This leaves total unallotted cash available on May 25th of $1,339,332. Accounts receivable balance on May 25th are a total of $855,357. The ROM account balance on May 25th was $145,739. And after the April payment, the building loan had a principal balance of $273,369. And for the Finance Committee, that number is different than was reported last night because it has been corrected to the correct number.
Brenda, just the number you said, just for clarification, on the screen, it says 257.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, because the one that was shared from a while ago hasn't been changed. I changed mine on my notes. The correct principal balance is $273,369.
Thank you, Brenda.
Yes, you're welcome.
And again, no actions required. This is just more for information as we continue, as we get in through the end of the fiscal year and into the new fiscal year. It is a matter of just keeping the council updated, up to date as of today.
Well, and also if there are any shifts, we know that we have a buffer here.
That's
We're
correct.
keeping track of it.
That's correct. Thank you.
And then Mary, we have the April OCPC staff report. I think you're going to give the staff report, and then David Klein's going to give the AAA area plan.
I am. There's been so much that has been going on. I can honestly say this last month has just been going, and continues to go. You as council members, I know either your individual conversations, we're doing a lot in Kingston. We've been still engaged with East Bridgewater. I mean, everyone who's on here, Abington, we're doing tons of things, Plymouth. So it makes me really proud of the staff that that is doing the hard work. I get to just talk about them, but you know, the administration, we have some new staff that have come on board. We actually, you know, we'll be talking a little bit about it in the upcoming newsletter that's coming up tomorrow. We did participate last week in the Transatlantic Conference. I will tell you, well, maybe not a robust attendee, but the particularly the OCPC panel, but the discussion with folks from Donegal, they're interested in what we're doing. We're interested in what they're doing. And I just want to just give accolades to the staff who did a presentation. And we also happened to have some conversations with former Ambassador Claire Cronin at a dinner, and that was enlightening as well. So, you know, we're celebrating many anniversaries, but again, between the overall administration of the organization, the individual departments, we're coming to the end of fiscal year, so we're spending down those dollars. Brenda is making sure that we're in contact with everyone. Paul has continue to work with the different departments and finding funding. We have a meeting next week, Paul, with the team and talking about the nonprofit arm and how do we utilize that. This is a great place to stop right here. Donna Brett has joined us. I'm not using her. Hughes is her new maiden name. I've known Donna for years, but she started, this is her second week, into her second week as the new director of the Ombudsman program. She's doing a terrific job, and David can give a little shout out. The transition with Lila has been amazing. And just a reminder that tomorrow we do have the retirement for both Lila and Jane, who have been a tag team on the Ombudsman program. I don't know exactly what's next, but I know that the comprehensive planning team has really been out there in terms of, you know, working with housing, but also with open space plans. I know was working with Stoughton and Abington particularly, Plimpton, just again, starting some really great conversations, great synergy between the transportation department, economic development, as well as the comprehensive planning and how they're working together. I know I have not seen, and this is, I know we talked a little bit about it last month with Peter Spagone giving shout out, but I have not seen so many different grants going to the Economic Development Administration. The next reiteration is amazing and continues to be that. But I also, with Charlie Kilmer and the transportation team, they have things posted. There's the, if you have not seen it, there will be on our website. It was mentioned in the consent agenda as well. Please look at those documents. I do want to give you some great news, is that one of our staff members today took her AICP. It is Joanne Zigman, and she passed. So that now becomes the third, no, 1, 2, 3, yep, now becomes the fourth staff. Charlie Kilmer, Lori Muncie. I know it's terrific news. Rhiannon, and now Joanne joins the team. We have not had so many people with their AICP, and we now know that there's other staff members who would like to pursue that as well. So really building up the credentials, but as well as the, you know, we already know their hard work and what they're doing. So stay tuned for more, but please take the time to read the staff report. And at this point, I'd like to have David Klein come up. David has a presentation about the priority. So David, if
Mary,
you'd like.
Mary, right before David starts, can I just give a shout out? Charlie, am I right in saying that at the MPO meeting, they said that we were the first to get our plan in place?
That is correct.
And was that the unified work plan or the tip or both?
The tip.
Okay,
Yep.
because we also were pretty quick with our unified work plan as well, right?
Yep.
They
All
are
right.
the transportation team, and I thank you, Becky. I did not mean to just run over all the accomplishments of the transportation team, but you know, they're out there and particularly to getting it into the state. It is an amazing feat, and that's the true teamwork and leadership that Charlie has for the transportation team. Thank you, Becky. And thank you, Charlie. So with that, David Klein, if you would like to speak.
Gladly, Mary. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. The reason that I'm here is to talk with you briefly, underlined a couple times, is that every 4 years, area agencies on aging are required to produce a report called the Area Plan on Aging. And as you'll notice from the title of the slide that Megan put together, this area plan that we're working on currently is for 2026 to 2029. The area plan that we are currently on, I worked on my first year at OCPC, 2020 into 2021, and that area plan that we're currently on is for the years 2022 through 2025. So what the area plan is a bit of a blueprint. It's a combination of a blueprint of where we're going and a little bit of a history lesson on where we are. But basically, we want to talk about how things have changed a little bit. For certainly COVID has been had a massive effect on some of the programs for older adults. So I'll touch upon that briefly. One of the new things that's going on, both within our organization and now within the state as a whole, the Elder Services Network, our age-friendly planning has not only become popular to do, but the governor just signed an executive order in Plymouth at an event that Becky and Mary and I were at a couple weeks ago. And it is having age-friendly plans is actually, it's a core competency at OCPC, but it's also now part of the state plan on aging. And so our area plan on aging kind of falls in line with the state plan on aging and with guidance from both the state and federal governments. The slide that you're looking at right now has to do with the needs assessments, which you may recall me talking with you about 4, 5, 6 months ago that were going on at the time, the late fall, early winter needs assessments. And we use these needs assessments to actually give us guidance on what the new areas for the 2026 and into 2029 area plan should be. And so one thing that was a little bit different for us than for some of the other agencies is that we actually had two needs assessments going on at the same time. One was the state needs assessment, which is governing quite a bit of the area plan that I'm about to discuss. And the other is the Polco Community Assessment Survey for Older Adults, which is on our website and at the URL that Megan has put on here, oldcolonyplanning.org/AAA-surveys. That's where you can find the CASOA. That's about a 150-page plan, needs assessment, and parts of it are really very interesting. But as Mary and I were discussing a little bit earlier today, We don't have a lack of data or things to talk about. There's a ton of recent data, and the fact that we are a planning agency makes the data flow even more broad and even more concentrated than most agencies have at their disposal. But we wanted you to see that the inputs for the area plan are the state level needs assessment and our own regional needs assessment. And also Mary mentioned to me, because Megan had put this in, there's a QR code at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side. So if you don't want to go directly into the web, you can just focus your phone here, and this will take you in to take a look at the needs assessment results. Next slide, Mary. Oh, before I get into this, one of the things I want to mention is at the end of reviewing this slide, one of the things that I'll be looking for, if you are so inclined, is to give an approval vote for our priorities that are listed both here in this slide and inside the area plan itself, which is in a draft format. And that URL on this page will take you right inside that draft format. I should warn you, for anybody that goes into the draft area plan now, it's a little bit rough, and we're going to be having multiple iterations of it. It's now in the 30-day public comment period. And so if you go into it, you might glean a couple interesting things, but if you go into it a week from now, there'll be even more there to take in. So with that in mind, one of the first and major data points from the state area plan was a listing of what older adult priorities are currently in the state, and they come out in a chart which is on the area plan that you can go in and take a look at your leisure. And as you can imagine, it's like a top 10 listing. I've consolidated this down into a top 6 listing. And some of these things that are listed here are not very surprising, while others may not seem surprising, but they're actually fairly new. And we think that they have been affected over the last several years by changing attitudes and also the way people had to adjust to COVID. So reading left to right, the in-home support for maintaining independence, which is basically doing what you need to do or having the services that you need to do to remain in your home rather than to go into either assisted living or a nursing home. Having that support is listed as the number one priority that people chose through the state needs assessment. And this is the state needs assessment for our area, the Old Colony area, but I'm sure it's probably for the state level as well. The second priority is where I did do a little bit of combining, because the affordable health care services and affordable housing and maintenance plan were actually two separate priorities on the needs assessment that people chose. And but they're both access services. So access to services for affordable health care and access to services for affordable housing. And I included legal services in there as that's a mandatory part of the Older Americans Act, and it's something which we support directly through our Title III grant, Older Americans Act grant here at Old Colony Planning Council. Number 3 on the list of priorities is transportation, and if anything, transportation is the least surprising thing to see, because at any one point over the years when area plans have been done, it's either been first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. It's always a top 5 choice, obviously, because if you don't have access to transportation and you are no longer able to drive, it can make life challenging. And so transportation options are access and availability and affordability are very, very important to the plan. And again, it's not a surprise. Perhaps the biggest surprise, although it shouldn't be, is the next item or the next priority listed, which is staying active and wellness promotion. And here, I think they were talking mainly about physical health, physical wellness, but later on in the list of priorities is also mental and behavioral health support. So I included physical and mental health in this one priority for us to look at. And this, to my knowledge, has never appeared as a top priority on an area plan. Now, that might not be true because I only go back the 5 years. However, I've been in elder services for about 15 years, and I can honestly say it's great to see that this is recognized as an important component of aging for all of us. And both on the physical side and the mental side. And I think on the mental side in particular, this is where, as Mary and I were discussing earlier, the social isolation that was caused, however briefly, but for longer for some people than others during COVID, really took a toll on some people. And so that was people that work in the mental health field probably are frustrated that it took all this time to get to this point. But I think there now really is a realization that mental health and physical health are both very, very important. The next item is a pretty broad topic, long-term supports and services and supports. And I listed nutrition as a bullet point because nutrition support is listed as one of the other priority service items in the top 10. And indeed, it is a long-term support. The Older Americans Act has 2 sections on nutrition. One is for congregate meals, when people get together to eat meals together, like at community centers or senior centers. And the other, as probably more people are familiar with, are home delivered meals, or what we more colloquially say is Meals on Wheels nutrition. So they each have their own separate line items under nutrition for the Older Americans Act. And they are both considered long-term services and supports, but they're not the only long-term services and supports. And last but really not least, making an appearance in our top 6 is leisure, recreation, and socialization to prevent loneliness and isolation. There was a point in time with transportation, this is how this ties in, when I can remember that you could get subsidized help for transportation, but really only go to medical appointments if you couldn't drive. And it was considered really not as important to get to the senior center or to get a ride to go visit a friend. And so it's very interesting that there's this realization has kind of crept into our zeitgeist, all of us collectively, that recreation, socialization, and socialization are important components of maintaining health. And I guess what I really want to do right now, before asking for an approval vote on these 6 top priorities, is ask if there are any questions or anything that anybody would like to know either about the area plan itself, which again is a work in progress, or how we came up with the priority items. Great. Thank you. I'll just take that as confirmation that I did an okay job.
Thank you very much, David. If there are no questions, do we have someone who will make a motion that we support the list of priorities for our AAA
area plan?
I'll make that motion, Becky.
Thanks, Noreen.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Stephen.
And thank you. I'll take the roll call. And just to remind, in the chat, Megan put in links to both of those. So thank you, Megan. Stephen Santisonio,
Accept.
John Costa, Sandra Bright,
Accept.
Allison Shane,
Accept.
Peter Spigot,
Accept.
Tony DeFrayis,
Accept.
Val Massard,
Accept.
Becky Coletta,
Accept.
Lee Hartman.
So for David, I will enthusiastically accept.
Thank you, Lee.
Wow.
Hmm.
I lost my, Bill Roth,
Accept.
Noreen O'Toole,
Accept.
Christine Joy.
Accept.
That is unanimous.
And thank you very much, David, for your work and for your presentation tonight.
Thank you, Becky, and thank you, Mary. And one of the things that I should mention, Mary wanted me to remember to mention this, is that we actually do want council approval for the area plan as a whole. It is a work in progress, and we do need state approval for it. So we'll be turning it into the state in late June, early July for them to take a look at it. We may be able to take actually a vote on it at the next meeting at the end of June. We'll see how that goes. We'll get guidance from the state on that, but you know, I'm hopeful that maybe we'll be able to have a presentation on the broader area plan itself. And thank you, everyone.
We are very
you.
lucky to have David on staff and his leadership, so.
Mary, I had a quick question for David, if it's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
David, those priorities, did you do a survey to get to those priorities? They're very good.
Good question.
Thank you, Noreen. Yes, you know what? I've been using the term needs assessment, but it's really what we were doing was needs assessment surveys.
Okay.
So,
And those were the top priorities in the survey.
and those were the top priorities that came out. And I'm sure if we looked at both surveys, there will be nuances, but there'll be a lot of
Right.
crossover.
Right.
And David, talk a little bit, I think it's important, it's a really important question for Noreen. So this is just not like 5 people coming together. How many survey results from at least the POCO?
We got from the state survey, we got about 400 responses, and from the
Right.
Polko survey, we got over 600. So I'm proud to say that between the two, we got over 1,000 responses.
Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome. Awesome. Great job.
Thank you, and thanks to all my colleagues who act and our council members and our grantees who supported our efforts,
And to Lee Hartman.
and to Lee, who made us stuck around for the first 45 minutes to do this.
Just for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd rather stay at this meeting, to be honest, but
Well, we have one more action item, and that's for the Personnel Committee report that Stephen Santisonio is going to walk us through next.
Thank you, Becky. David's always a tough act to follow, but I'll give it my best. Hello, everybody. The Personnel Committee met on Tuesday, May 13th at noontime. The committee discussed amendments to the Personnel Handbook. After reviewing the amendments, the committee favorably recommended adding terminology for retired staff members who choose to return and work part-time with OCPC. The committee favorably recommends to the council the amendment as follows. If the employer and employee mutually decide to return to OCPC part-time, a new term of employment will be established. The committee adjourned into an executive session to review and discuss merit recommendations by the executive director for the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. The committee favorably recommends to the council to accept these merit increases for the coming fiscal year. The Personnel Committee requests the council to approve the suggested personnel handbook amendment and merit increases for staff for fiscal year 2026. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Stephen. And I will say that those merit increases are included in the budget, so they are budgeted for. Do we have any questions for Stephen? If not, do we have a motion to approve the suggested personnel handbook amendment and merit increases for staff for FY 2026? Christine, do you want to?
So moved, yes.
We did review
did
them also
discuss
at your
this,
meeting
yeah.
last night.
At the Finance Committee meeting and the Finance Audit Committee meeting is favorably reporting this out and asking that the full council approve these measures as well. So I would like to make a motion that the council approve the suggested personnel handbook amendment and the merit increases for staff for fiscal year 26.
I'll second. Thank you, Val. Mary,
Yes, roll call. Stephen Santisonio,
Accept.
John Costa,
Accept.
Sandra Wright,
Accept.
Allison Shane,
Accept.
Peter Spigot,
Accept.
Tony DeFrayis,
Accept.
Val Massard,
Accept.
Becky Coletta,
accept.
Hartman,
Accept.
Bill Roth, Noreen O'Toole,
Accept.
and Christine Joy.
Accept.
All right, thank you. And now, Mary, would you just, we have a legislative committee report on the
Yes.
retirement legislation as a standing item.
Yes, this will be very quick, but I want to just reiterate, we are really lucky to have Senator Mike Brady in our region. He sits as the co-chair of the Public Service Committee, which has the retirement legislation that's trying to fix the issue that we've had for several years. Just an email came in today that the consultant that the regional planning agencies have hired met with the House chair, and then we're looking to schedule some time with Senator Brady. It continues to still stay in as a legislation for us, but no further action at this point, but things are still moving.
Thank you, Mary. I don't have any other business to bring before the board.
Actually, you do, Madam President. There was the issue that we had a resolution that I sent to you.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've actually been helping out my family this week and
I
I
can
must
be-
have missed that. So
That's
can
okay.
you,
I can be really quick on this.
Yep.
We are applying for a regional status of designation of an age-friendly. And in here, as you'll see, I can just read it quickly. We have our 17 communities, although there's 23 as it relates to AAA, but we're going to be applying for regional designation. Paul Umano has helped put together. We're looking for some letters of support from various communities. In addition to that, 2 other regional planning agencies have done this. MAPC to the north of us and SERPIT to the south, each taking a little bit different tact. But what this resolution is going to be included as part of our application, and basically it stays to support the work that has been done with Easton, Duxbury, and Kingston. And I know that, I don't think I missed anybody. I know Brockton has an age-friendly, but we would like, and Plymouth, of course. So I would ask for a vote of approval of the resolution and the application that will go into, Paul, I think either tonight or tomorrow.
okay, do we have a motion?
I'll put the motion on the floor.
Thank you, Noreen.
A second.
Thank you, Val.
And the roll call, Stephen Santisonio,
Accept.
John Costa,
Accept.
Sandra Wright,
Accept.
Allison Shane,
Accept.
Peter Spigot,
Accept.
Tony DeFrayis,
Accept.
Val Massard,
Accept.
Becky Coletta,
Accept.
Lee Hartman.
Accept.
Perfect, thank you. Bill Roth,
Accept.
Noreen O'Toole,
Accept.
Christine Joy.
Accept.
That is the last item.
Thank you very much. So with that, just a reminder for anyone who can make it, Lila and Jane's retirement party is tomorrow, Thursday, from 1 to 3 at the OCPC office. Megan's putting the RSVP link in the chat, I hope. Or you can reach out to Megan if you want to come. But also if you would like to send well wishes, you can send those to Megan and she will help to get those to Lila and Jane or put them up tomorrow. Our next meeting is
Our annual meeting on
our
June,
annual meeting, and I switched off of my
that's June 25th. That's okay.
June 25th is our annual meeting. So hopefully we will see a lot more people in person at the OCPC office for the June meeting. And with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. And we don't need a roll call for that. So good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.